All right, back on our 96-ish Buick Town and Country, or what's this?
This is a Buick Park Avenue Ultra.
Park Avenue, there we go. Town and Country was Crown Vic, right?
Yep.
Or Lincoln. This one had a Fire, similar to the Buick we showed you a couple weeks ago. Also, this one was supercharged. We removed it to show later on. But you notice the mess it makes with the fire extinguisher powder. That's all this yellow powdery stuff, and it gets all over you when you're doing anything with it. But it had quite a bit of damage done in a short amount of time with this fire. This one was actually an electrical fire, which will come down to the bottom here and show you. But typically you think most car fires start because of fuel. This one was actually electrical. So we'll jump down to the bottom and Mr. B will take over with kind of what was going on.
Okay, you guys. So just like Mr. Hamrick said, the first thing you think of when you see a vehicle fire is you think of fuel. In this particular situation, and just like Mr. Hamrick said from the video from a couple weeks ago, look, there's another supercharged vehicle, same drivetrain, same issue. Its electrical fire was located in a different place though. So moving right along. So we've discussed in class, I'm sure both of our classes we have, in order for an electrical circuit to operate, you have to have a power source, a load, and a path to ground. So what you're looking at here is the actual cause of this fire. So this is the starter wire that comes down from the battery. Okay, pardon me, it was the starter wire that came down to the battery. And what happened is it rubbed the insulation through onto the subframe. So for any of us thinking the way it should be here, so our battery up here was the power source, and then it actually shorted.
This one's actually the ground
to
the motor.
Okay.
This is power from the battery to the starter, and this is the ground from the motor to the battery.
Look at that, 2 wires. Okay, so we completed the circuit by touching here, contacting here, okay? So a lot of people refer to vehicle shorts when in actuality it has nothing to do with a short. This is what a short looks like, you guys. And with this one, it had all the power of the battery, and the load became the car. Quite a load, I might add. So this is the cause of all the damage. We have all kinds of power steering lines, air conditioning hoses. This vehicle is $1,200 at best retail. If it was for sale, we came up with an estimate of $3,000. We recommended the customer that he move on down the road, which is here is a copy of what Mr. Hamrick's recommendations were.
Yeah, this was just a real quick list of the bare minimum to maybe get it going down the road. Front motor mount, both trans cooler lines, oil level switch, connector and wiring, ground wire from engine to battery, front spark plug wires, oil pressure switch, connector and associated wiring, starter signal wire, starter power wire, lower radiator hose, AC high pressure switch, wire and connector, AC high side and low side lines to the compressor. That would be the bare minimum to maybe get it going, to get started, but more than likely we'd run into other things as we tore into it that would be required to get it going.
This is a longtime customer of ours, and he's pretty attached to it, but I gave him the estimate for about $3,000 and advised him that if it is my vehicle, it goes down the road, I'm not going to fix it. He agreed with us. So that's the reason we now have a supercharger to bring to our classes and show you what one is, even a factory supercharger.
Yeah, but one last note, it's these rub together really slowly over time, but more than likely it was because there was a clip that held them separate that was not put back, and so yeah, they usually will go in a hole, you know, just like right there, but that clip was never put back, and so those wires were allowed to rub together really slowly over time, and eventually they rubbed through and started a fire and did a whole lot of damage very quickly.
And look up here at this front valance. Look how hot this fire got. This is probably a foot away from it, and below where it was, the heat actually came down to the front here. So it was quite the spectacle. This happened in the Walmart parking lot right around the corner here from the shop.